Hey guys, and welcome to another video. So for today's video I thought I would film a glowy sort of glam look. We've been in quarantine and sorry, I'm just getting my drink. So much better. It's so hot today, it's like the hottest day in May. But I just thought I'd film this look because, you know, we're all in quarantine, feeling a bit down about ourselves. We can't get our makeup done, can't get our hair done. So I just thought I'd give myself a little pamper and make myself feel better. Do you know what I mean? That reminds me of this meme. Gemma Collins is like, and I'm just here to enjoy myself, GC style. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, I hope you guys find this tutorial easy to follow. Please leave any feedback or positive comments down in the box below, and I hope you enjoy recreating this look. Hey guys, so I'm just going to start by prepping my skin using the Ordinary Natural Moisturising Factors moisturiser. I got this for about £5 from Look Fantastic, and it's honestly the best moisturiser I've ever used, so I'd highly recommend. I'm going to be listing all the products using down below, so don't forget to check that out too. Just moisturising my lips using a Carmex as well. I love this so much. And then I'm just going in with the Plouise base in shade Rumour 2, just putting a small dot on each eye and then looking upwards just to get it spread over the lid. I'm then going to use my finger to sort of blend this out, and then I'll go over this with a flat brush. This brush is just from Morphe, and I just sort of bring this up to the arch of my eyebrow, all the way into my inner corners and just all across the lid, and make sure that everything is covered. Okay, I'm then going into my Morphe Brushes 35M palette, and I'm just going to use a light brown transition shade, something a bit warmer than my own skin tone, and I'm just going to lightly apply pressure with the brush. This is a fluffy brush from Real Techniques, and just go back and forth in sort of light brushstroke motions just to sort of create a semicircle just above the crease there. Then using my Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette, I'm just going to use a small round fluffy brush from Superdrug and just use a more orangier transition shade to really just deepen up that crease that we've already put on, like the shadow we've already put onto our lids, and just again go over in light sort of brush strokes in a semicircle sort of way and just blend out as so. I'm then going to use my Urban Decay Naked 2 fluffy side of the brush, and then use the darker shade from earlier in the palette, and then put this on the outer corners of both my eyes. This just deepens the shadows and makes your eyes a lot smokier to give that sort of more deepened finished look on the outside to really draw your face out. I always do this with every eyeshadow look I use, and you can see here that I do a bit too much on this eye, but I will correct that later, don't worry. Then going back in with the Plouise Rumour 2 base using the Morphe flat brush that we used earlier, I'm just going to apply a small amount just away from the corners of my eyes, and then just use the crease line from the corner of my eye up in sort of into the middle of my eyelid, where my pupil is, just above the crease line, just to make my eyelids look bigger. And then I just sort of blend this out, but still keeping that top crisp line on my crease. And then using the Huda Beauty 3D highlighter palette, I'm going to use a small eye brush and use the golden shade Azores just to pop this and really pack this onto the base while it's still tacky. This is so important because it will really get that highlight and that gold shimmer to pop, and that is exactly what we want. So I do this on both eyes until they look the same, until I feel like the gold is really packed on there. I also want to say it's just so important to stay within the lines of your base as well. If you go over, then you're going to end up having shimmer all over your transition shades, and we just want to keep this within those beautiful lines that we already painted with the base. Okay, then going back in with my Morphe Brushes 35M palette, I'm just going to use a cool brown shade with a flat, compact brush, and just sort of go back into the crease and really deepen it. This is going to allow the highlight and the cut crease to pop, and that is exactly what we want. We really want that smoky goodness. Then using a clean Morphe fluffy brush, I'm just going back over my eyeshadow and just blending this all out. Then I'm just going to pop some mascara on my lashes quickly using the Colossal Lash Maybelline mascara. I love this mascara, but I'm basically almost run out, so I definitely need to get a new one. So onto skin, using a Real Techniques foundation brush, I'm just going to apply my NARS Sheer Glow foundation in the shade Punjab onto my hand. I don't apply it directly to my face because I feel like I end up putting too much on and then it goes everywhere. So I'm just going to dot this on my face and just sort of where I feel like I need it. I don't put it right under my eyes because my eyes really crease. And I feel like it doesn't last so long under my eyes, and we're going to put concealer there anyway, so it'll be fine. And then I just blend this out in sort of like circular motions until it's all blended in. Okay, then moving on to brows. So I'm just going to use a clean mascara spoolie just to separate all my brow hairs and brush them up as so. I'm really into the fluffy brow trend, so this is sort of where this inspo for this step came from. So yeah, I just brush them up as so. And then using my L'Oreal Brow Artist pencil, I think it's in shade 2 Blonde. I just sort of fill in the gaps between my hairs underneath my arch and just above, and just sort of try and darken the outer corner of my eyebrows because they're quite light. And I just sort of shape them as I see fit in the mirror, and then hope that and pray that they look the same. Then using the Benefit Gimmie Brow in shade 3, I just brush all the hairs up just to keep them in place. Then moving on to contour, I use the Revolution Supersize Concealer in C12, and I just dot this in places that I want to minimize and make look more bronzier. So I do this on my forehead, and I also put this underneath my cheekbones and just below my chin to minimize these areas and also try and hide that double chin. Then using a Real Techniques condensed sort of fluffy angled brush, I just sort of blend this out in circular motions. I try to still sort of keep the shape of where I put the contour, so I do this just everywhere where I put the darker contour colour. Moving on to highlight, I'm going to use the Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer in shade C7. This is a lot lighter than your skin tone or my skin tone, and I'd really recommend using a light concealer. I just put this from the corners of my mouth out underneath my contour line. This really sharpens your contour and accentuates this part of your face. And then I sort of put this just above my lip, just to sort of make this area bigger, and underneath my eyes, and just sort of out towards my temples, because we will blend this out later to really snatch the eyes as well. And then I also put this just in the middle of my forehead and just down the middle of my nose and around my eyebrows, because we are going to conceal and define this area also. Then using a flat foundation brush, I'm just going to blend this out in smooth brush strokes just where I've sort of concealed. I don't want to go crazy with the blending, just enough so the product is still there, but just so there's no harsh lines. I sort of bring this out from the middle of my eye and the middle of my face and draw this out, and it really cleans up any mess you've made from the eyeshadow and really makes it really crisp, and it is so satisfying. So again, I'm just blending out all around my face, just blending out down the middle of my nose really lightly, and then just around my eyebrows, following the natural bone structure of my face, and just blending this out as so. Then just to set the contour, I'm using the medium and light shades using a dense angled brush from the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, just going over all of the areas where I contoured with the Revolution concealer earlier, just to deepen up the contours again, and then just set these so they don't move throughout the day. You can also contour underneath your jawline just lightly, just to really define and sharpen this area too. Okay, then we're just going to bake our highlighted areas using the Mercier Translucent Powder. I'm just going to dab this with a Real Techniques sort of egged sponge, and using the pointed area into the corner of my eye, firmly press the powder and then drag it out towards your temples. This is really going to highlight and brighten these areas, and also set all the powders you put in earlier. It's really going to lift your face, and I just love this step of my makeup routine. I do this everywhere where I put the highlight, and I do this in the exact same motion as, and keep to the lines as where we put the highlight earlier. Then using a large rounded face brush, I'm just going to go into my Revolution blush palette, and I'm going to go ham on this palette. I love every single blush, and I just sort of mix them to get that right tone for my skin. I sort of like peachy, pinky blushes, and I think this looks really good. So I just put this on the apples of my cheeks and out towards my temples. Then I'm just going to go ahead and brush off all that excess powder using a fan brush from Blank Canvas Cosmetics. Then using a dense sort of wide brush, I just go in with that brown smoky colour again and go underneath my eyes just to bring the eyeshadow look together. I go over the lines of my lid eyeshadow and just sort of join the two just so they really smoke upwards and outwards, and they just really come together. Okay, next onto lashes. I did my lashes off camera because I find them really difficult to film up close, but here they are, and I use the PrimaLash, which I'll link down below. Then next, using my black Avon pencil, I just put this on the outer corners of my eyes and just put this on my waterline and draw this in towards my pupil. Then using my MAC lip liner in the shade Spice, I just overline my Cupid's bow and just try and get some definition when I overline my lips. This is just to make my lips look bigger and just give them a bit of colour. I then keep going over these lines as so, and then I draw and overline the bottom of my lip, and I just sort of add more lip liner to the outer corners of my lips just to sort of make these bits look smaller so the middle bit looks brighter. Then I go over this with the Sexy Mother Pucker lip gloss. I love this lip gloss, it's literally my OG, it's my fave, and yeah, I put this all over. Then going back in with my Huda Beauty 3D highlighter palette in the shade Azores, I pop this on the inner corners of my eyes using the flat eye brush we used earlier for the cut crease, and then I also put this on the highlights and points of my cheekbones just to highlight these with a small fluffy face brush as so. I love this highlighter, it's such a perfect summer highlight and it is really blinding, as you can see. So this is the finished look, guys. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial, and I hope to see you soon.